I'll let Lindy introduce you, but I met her in 2007 because I needed a builder in Second Life, and she was a recommendation. Unfortunately, she was far too busy to help me, but that was good because I then had to learn the skills myself. That worked. Okay, it sounds like Lindy's about to be on because we just heard her, or I heard her. Today was the first time I've met Lindy in real life, so it's quite amazing. She's out here from the States. She goes back on Monday, so we are extremely privileged to have her. You'll find when you hear her that she doesn't have an American drawl because she's an Aussie, but she lives in the US, and I will hand over to her shortly. But what I might do before I hand over to Lindy is I want you to all to... What we'll do for tonight at this stage is just a few little protocols. We will all talk in text and let Lindy talk in audio, and then when there's a bit of a break or we want questions or things like that, we'll let you use audio. That'll be great. That way we won't get the feedback. We'll get to listen to Lindy and all that sort of stuff. G'day. So Lindy's here in Armidale until tomorrow, and she arrived yesterday. In fact, she arrived in Armidale before me because I've been away a few days. If any of you have sent emails, you'll probably notice I haven't responded. I haven't got there yet. Okay, so what I want you to do before Lindy introduces herself and talks, I might get you all to that just in chat. Introduce yourself. So, good eye, mate. Just in chat, introduce yourself. You don't have to say your real name, but you might just let Lindy know the context of why you're here. So you might be a student now, you might be a past student, all that sort of stuff. So I'll stop waffling on and you introduce yourselves. Okay, so we have Tam, current student, and Peter, first year at UNE, so she's doing a primary. Kylie, student now, primary teacher on the Central Coast, so she would be one of my master's students. Michael, first year teaching, so he'd be a Bachelor of Ed primary. Kylie, student, yeah, we've got that. Nessie New, current student in the grad cert in e-learning, cool. And Stephanie, first year student, mother of three, studying, working full time, 3 kids, is hectic. Okay, there you go.
Hi everyone, it's Lindy here, or Decamar in Second Life. I guess you guys, there's a bunch of you who are teachers in primary schools, as well as some people who actually haven't said what level they're at. And so for you, Second Life isn't an option to use with your students very much. I'd be happy to take any questions from you. My background is in various lives. I've been a primary teacher, a primary teacher librarian. I've been an education advisor in technology in schools. I've been a head office IT advisor. I've been a consultant in business. I've sold computers for Apple. Very checkered background. I've been academic and a researcher and project managed research. So I have a really checkered background. I've been working in virtual worlds since about 2005, and that started in active worlds rather than in Second Life, and I moved to Second Life when it kind of got a hold of being much more easy to build than things like active worlds. But lots of primary schools are using the active worlds environment called Quest Atlantis. If anyone here's heard of Quest Atlantis, give us a hoy in the chat. And I've used virtual worlds for primary school, secondary school, teacher professional development, corporate sales development. We've just been making videos for pharmacy and social work students that we filmed in Second Life. Yes, you can Google Quest Atlantis. It's a virtual world that's curriculum-based, that's used extensively around the world, but it was created by a guy named Sasha Barrett at the University of Indiana. But the project officer for teacher professional development is actually a gal based out of Sydney called Bronwyn Stuckey. And Quest Atlantis is a quest-based game environment for social science, social studies types curriculum and science curriculum. It's used pretty extensively in Queensland and New South Wales schools, so I know definitely you can get it through your firewall in those two states. But it's used around Australia in other schools as well, but I'm not quite sure whether many government schools in other states have been able to get access. It's free to use as well, which is really nice. The original use of Second Life for me was to use it as a research area, because I've been doing lots of professional development for teachers about the use of ICT in schools, and I wasn't really happy with online tools that were available for doing that, because I use an action learning based method for that professional development, which means every teacher in the programs that I run has to use the technology they're learning about, and then they meet in small groups of 4 to 6 people who talk about what they've been doing. They meet about once a month or every 3 weeks, and there's a question-based protocol where people help each other learn. So you explore, plan, act and reflect is the cycle, and I wanted to be able to do that better online with teachers who are scattered around the country. And so I built an environment on an island called Terra Incognita to do action learning in Second Life, and then researched whether the tools were capable of supporting that kind of learning. So I have an island that has lots of meeting spaces on it for small groups, because that's the bit that I need a virtual world for. And we looked at what kind of tools would support teacher learning in this environment. So that was the content of my PhD, but in the process of doing that, I started working with universities and corporate training in using virtual worlds in all sorts of different ways. And now I've moved into the use of OpenSim, and I'm currently been consulting to a group in the US who are applying for a big grant to build a virtual world for 11 to 16-year-old girls that's STEM themed, so science, technology, engineering, math topics. And we'll find out in about 6 weeks or so whether we've got a grant to build that STEM-based world for young girls. I'm currently working with OpenSim as the platform for that, but we'll probably move it into Unity 3D if they get through the trials and it's successful. So, fairly checkered background in virtual worlds across a broad range of environments. I've got I wonder if I can do it here. Maybe not.
Actually, I can, hold on, I'll change it so you can.
Sue's going to give me broad access here, because I can throw out a few of the things that have been really useful tools that have come out of the research I've been doing that's handy for thinking about virtual worlds. One of them is an analysis of the roles virtual worlds can play, and that's basically virtual world can be used for 5 things only in education, and that's as a location, the content itself, so you can make something that teaches your content, has a context, like when you're learning languages. You can use it as an immersion space so that you can get the context for the language experience that you're doing. You can use it for the community because various communities of users, so it could be for your class, your professional association, or a particular topic you're interested in. And the last one is as a material, so you can do things like use it to make machinima, or you can use it to build and terraform and script, so that the world itself becomes the material for the content that you're teaching. And you can combine those in various interesting combinations. I just thought I might throw that slide up here, but I can also throw you a link to the blog post about that. So I have a checkered background. Are there any questions from the group about what they might like to investigate about virtual worlds in your context? I have a question here from Kylie about what would you recommend for years 1 and 2. I actually have a friend who's done a bunch of work in early childhood with Lego Universe, but unfortunately Lego Universe is actually being disbanded, so I can't recommend that you go there anymore. But you could take children that young on tours where you've gone somewhere in Second Life and they actually watch your screen, so you could take them on a tour of a place, perhaps an underwater environment, that kind of thing. And so they could do a tour with you while your avatar is in Second Life. The other thing would be to build environments in OpenSim for them on something like Japadia Grid that were related to their curriculum. So it may be an immersive environment where you made avatars for them that were, say, animals in a zoo or animals in a habitat, and they could actually move around as those animals. So they might be farm animals, for example. Kylie, are you having trouble with your audio or with your text chat? Certainly, whoops, looks like Kylie's out of the picture. The other thing is that you can just use the virtual world for your own professional development and use the professional community in here for learning experiences. There's definitely a lot of art focus in here. Cathoid. I've got on my island a bunch of horse sculptures, for example, that art classes come and visit, and they discuss the uses of digital technologies as an art medium. There's also lots of galleries who are exhibiting. There's the opportunity to visit places that are replicas of things like the Sistine Chapel, and use those as a stimulus for discussion in your art history classes. Any other questions?
Do you want to take them to...
Do we want to do some touring? I actually sent out a list inquiry to the Second Life Educators list and asked for places that you guys might find interesting to visit. And I got back lots of really interesting places. Peter, you don't have to be sorry for being a first year. We all started there. Learning to be a teacher is a continuum as far as I'm concerned. You start at the beginning of your career and you never stop learning. I think Petria Redmond at USQ was talking about trying to do a beginning teachers community in here, but I don't think she ever got it off the ground. But I think that could actually be a really cool thing to do, is have a community of teachers across the country, or even across the world, who met in here as their kind of debriefing zone. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'll take you for a quick visit to Terra Incognita, so you can either choose the map and the search, which is the magnifying glass, and search for Terra Incognita, or if you stand really still, I will drop a landmark onto you for Terra. It will force you to the landing point in various places from there, I know. Teleport off from the rigging there.
I'm behind, to the left of you. I was getting out of everyone's way.
Okay. You want to stay here and give everyone has a bit of Terra?
Yeah. Yeah. But you haven't given me one yet.
According to my thing, I have. Sue Gregory receives the telephone.
Yeah, I haven't got it. Okay, no worries. I can come there. I've been there before. Okay. Just got it. It's really fast today. Hi everyone, Lindy should have given you a landmark, so if you're able to take that landmark and teleport to Terra Incognito, that'd be great. If not, I can give you the landmark. So, because you should find it in your top right hand corner. Have a look on your screens and open it up and then teleport. Let us know if you haven't got it. I've just re-given it to everyone. My computer's been a bit slow. I don't know why. But Tam, I saw you typing, and I haven't got what you wrote. So I'll just give you that teleporter again. Kath, thank you for turning off your mic. That was great. I'm not sure there was feedback happening, but okay.
Hi guys, this is the landing point for the island, and in here we can go in 4 directions.
Kath, if you just... Sorry, you can go. She's gone.
Out this door, we've got a resource centre. Out this door, this one leads up to... really laggy. I just got so much fun.
Shouldn't have.
Okay, this door over here, this heads to a rooftop classroom, a mountaintop classroom, and on my left you can see a sign that shows that it's a hexagonal set of pods like a honeycomb, and it can be...
I don't seem to... there we go. Voice is back working. At this door, there's a mountain with a classroom at the top, and it's a hexagonal set of pods like a honeycomb. And when the teacher is sitting in the teacher's chair, they can actually drive breakout rooms from that classroom, and you can send the pods away, you can call them back, and it allows 35 students to
work together as a whole class or to break it down into groups.
Let's come back in. Let's see again.
This area down here, if you want to come down.
It's back.
Down here is my orientation area, which is a bit different to most orientation areas in second life. It's called Playdeck, and it's a series of games that you can play, like mud wrestling, arm wrestling. You can mount your avatar on a dartboard, and people can throw knives at you. So for the orientation of the action learners, they would start with this set of games. I would teach each person just one thing, and we would put out a dance floor, and the other people would have to teach each other, and then you could request songs from the DJ who was playing, and by the end of the game's evening, every skill you need to operate the interface of Second Life would be practiced, and everyone would have learned how to use pose balls and how to use touch and how to equip their mouse look, how to dance, how to use the keyboard interface to play a game. And so through these games, the participants in the program would not only learn how to use the interface, they would also learn about the other members of the program. And so they would actually get to know each other. And so after they'd had their orientation here and their orientation to action learning, they would form their learning set meetings that were going to meet from that point onward. So this orientation program killed two birds with one stone. It got the participants to know each other and to actually relax in Second Life, because, you know, once you've mud wrestled with someone and spent half an hour hysterically laughing, then you were much more relaxed to go ahead with the actual action learning program. Then all around this island are small meeting areas for the action learners. So you'll notice that every place is at least 20 metres away from the other places, which is text chat distance apart. And in that way you could have multiple groups having meetings on the island at the same time.
I'll
text chat?
I'm good. I'm fast. I'll just interpret for you.
Oh, thank you.
For you. No, you talk, I type.
Yep, I'm just letting him know. So this island is a series of locations for the use as action learners, but I've also got a number of film sets built up at altitude, and the action learners and their projects at altitude on skybox platforms. So what I'd like to do is show you some of the film studios, because we've been filming machinima or videos in Second Life for pharmacy students and social work students by recording scripted scenarios, which they then just place in a course. So that's using the virtual world as a film set. So I'm going to again try and drop you all a landmark to the hospital, but you won't be able to teleport that high unless you do have a flight feather. So do these guys have flight feathers that let them go higher?
I think I'm the only one.
Okay, I'm going to try and give you all a flight feather as well, because I'm sure I have one in my inventory. That is a freebie. And that will let you fly higher than the clouds, or fly higher than about 300 feet, 300 metres. Flight feather. So when you get this object, you need to find it in your inventory called flight feather and just wear it. Did anyone not get a flight feather?
Nessie knew. She's in front of you to your left.
Okay. About now. To find it in your inventory, you just check the little suitcase and then type flight in the search box. Excellent. Now I'm handing out a hospital a landmark to everyone. So see if you can teleport off to the hospital. Glad everyone's standing nice and still. So to do that teleport, you'll just go to your inventory again, if it doesn't come up on your screen, and teleport to the hospital. Leave you there as the sweeper.
Just got to. I had someone log off, so I'll see if she comes in. Someone said they're all telling them they're not allowed to teleport there. They're saying I've got the flight feather, but I can't teleport there.
Do they wear the flight feathers?
Whoops. But I'm not sure I've got mine on, I don't know. Sometimes I do. Yeah, I do. And, oh yeah. Yeah, I've got it on.
If you have a misty tool, it's got to wait.
Yes, and it still won't let me.
I'm just doing like this.
Okay.
If they chatted in the chat room, I should be able to teleport them.
They're all saying hi in chat. Oh, but you're probably not here anymore.
I'm just clicking in the chat and offering teleports.
Okay. My teleporter is not working. Hold on, where is it? Not working, and has said, where to the flight feather? Have 2 flight feathers in my inventory, but neither are working.
Well, I have Peter has arrived. Usually a teleport will work even if I don't have a flight feather.
This day,
Oh, I've got a Lancelot.
Yep.
I think it's just lagging too much everywhere.
Yeah. I hate it when Second Life does that. I'll just tell them to keep trying. I
don't have everybody's name, so we've got.
Okay.
Peter.
Have you got Nessie New there? NESSYNU?
No. Is that good?
Yes.
Okay. Just separate teleport.
I'm giving them the landmark, but that probably won't work. Tam Clark, you got her?
No.
One word. She keeps moving. And then Steph.
Have you got them as friends?
Yep.
If I teleport you, can you teleport them?
Yep.
Okay. Sue's going to teleport the others who's going to link to their name. So what this is a film set. So if you walk through this outer wall, you'll see that the outside walls are clear. So we can film right through them, and all we've done is on the outside put a transparent texture. So when you look on the inside, you'll find that inside the hospital ward, when you look back towards the wall has a texture only on one side of the prim. And that lets us film long angle shots, and you'll notice that in the bed we've got prim-based people.
So to look like patients, and in the other beds we actually put avatar patients. And in that way we can have actor avatars. And I have a bunch of costumes, so I'm just going to change into I have a frumpy nurse costume and a nice nurse costume. And social workers and pharmacists and various patients are other avatars. I'm just going to change into my nurse. And what we do is we get the pharmacy and the social work staff at the university, they write a script, and we do it in like columns, so we have the actor and the action, and then we film the scenes here, and then the editor at the university puts it together and makes a training movie of that scenario, and then the students have that loaded up in their Moodle learning management system, and they watch those videos and then they use them as discussion starters. And we have different endings to the same beginning. So it may be for the social worker that a patient has fallen and broken her legs and she's in the hospital, but she runs a hobby farm and she doesn't have anybody to look after her animals, so she's really worried about the animals. And so she'll be laying in bed as the patient, the nurse will come in, will animate them doing things like washing their hands and film conversation with the arrival of the social worker to discuss how they're going to solve the problem for that patient. You'll notice that when you walk through this wall, the clear wall, there's a cube just on the outside. That's so I can see where the doorway is, so my avatar knows that if she walks just near that cube, she'll actually come out through the doorway, because I can't see the door from the outside because we've made it clear. Now, if you follow me over through the side walls, there's another set. Might have to walk around this one. There's another set the other side, which is actually the entrance to the maternity ward, because one of the scenarios was actually a maternity scenario where we had a couple who had a stillborn child, and a social worker was talking to them. And the character that I'm dressed as at the moment is the nurse that is talking to the social worker at this counter. So we've got another set here where we have the nurse's station. Just beside it is the baby nursery. So if you actually look through the windows on the outside here, you'll see the little babies in the nursery, which is actually just a flat picture because that's only ever in kind of the background of a scene. So I didn't have to make all these little babies, but we can have scenes with other parents looking in there, and it's a really good realistic background for the maternity ward. So we film here with the social worker getting information about the case from the nurse, and then we film the social worker working in the ward with those patients. And by the way we cut the film together, you end up thinking that these doors here lead straight into the ward, but they don't actually. So it's just like in the movies.
That we just manage the sets.
Right, voice is gone. Now it's back. Go again.
Okay, so
we just make various. I have actually a set of avatars.
Yeah, I have a set of
avatars, and I keep a spreadsheet actually as a Google Doc of which avatars.
Back. Sorry.
Sue's telling me
my voice is very patchy.
That's better. Oh, I've forgotten to type.
Good. Thanks, Tam. Yeah, there's an opportunity to use Second Life as a great environment for film and TV students, because you can do things like create sets to make like community service announcements for your school, for the school TV station or radio station, or just filmmaking in general, because it's so easy and so cheap. I use the Second Life Marketplace, and I'm not sure if you've seen that. On the web, they run a great marketplace for Second Life. So you can buy for like 10 and 20 cents. Lots of the furniture and stuff that you'll see here, I don't bother building it because I couldn't build it in the time, in a cost-effective way to make the kind of things that I need. So I just go onto the marketplace on the web and I search, because it has really good search, and buy lots and lots of the things like furniture and bookcases, and you can buy various ethnic avatars. I made a bunch of videos for training farmers in India about climate data, and I was even able to buy the ethnic skins and avatar costumes to make those the avatars for that film. And then we showed them those films just off DVD. Not like they'd never been in Second Life. We just created the films in here because it's so cheap to make them. So whether it's the content of the film that you want the students to see, or it's the making of film that you want students to experience, this place makes a great film studio. If we actually walked off the edge of this platform, we would probably drop down to the pharmacy. We also have pharmacy students who are doing role plays in here. So there's a pharmacy another couple of 100 metres below this with a street scene, so we can do films. Are there any questions? any particular subject areas that people are interested in. I have a wiki that I use to collect examples of various learning experiences in virtual worlds. And it's not a wiki you can join because it's really just my notes. It's kind of my dumping ground. But you might find it useful for finding links to other places. They're just organised by subject area into various topics. The other thing I did was I sent out an email to the Second Life Educators list and asked people to suggest places that would be useful to visit. So all sorts of people came back with various topics like physics labs and other sets of links, which I've then added to the wiki, foreign language learning environments, and art spaces, and just so many diverse and different environments that you could visit in here. But I'm just watching my time and just checking if there's any particular areas of interest that people have. Actually join that email list if you want to, or there's an archive of it where you can go and search and browse. Fine.
No, just keep going. Wow, thanks for this. And Peter is saying something, and Cathoid is trapped behind the wall.
We can give you a teleport out of the trap.
Oh, see, she's on the other side, and she can see us, but can't get in because it's a wall.
Right.
Or can she?
She might have to walk around. Like there's certain spots, like if there's a door there, I might not have made it transparent. I mean, I've made it transparent, but I haven't made it not physical so that she can walk through it.
Yeah. Who's Ndor?
Just grabbing this educator's email list, because even if you don't join, it's a really useful archive. So you can search for a particular topic. There's effort. Welcome back. Okay, and you'll notice I'm in my frumpy avatar, a nurse avatar. And I was able to pick up all the parts for this from the Second Life Marketplace. Did I actually copy that URL? Because that's a really great resource to have, is the Marketplace. And sometimes too, I find that if something looks simple and I want to build it in OpenSim, but I don't know how to build it, is I'll go to a store that has something on the Marketplace, and they always have a link to the actual store in Second Life. And I'll go in Second Life and I just right-click on it, choose Edit, and it will actually show me all of the prims that it's built from. So if you try that here now, just click on any object, the wall, the floor, anything, and just choose right-click and Edit. You won't be able to change it, but you'll actually see the shape of each prim outlined in yellow or blue. it's a complex object like, say, a cabinet or the notice board, then it'll be made of multiple things, and others will be just simple shapes. But that's a way to have a look at the shapes someone's used to build something, and then I often do a screenshot with that highlighting turned on my computer, and that gives me the structure of an object that I want to copy. And there are lots of websites that have free textures, so I've collected up on that wiki a bunch of sites that have free textures so that you can go and get great textures for floors and walls and all that kind of doors and all sorts of things. Was anyone here a builder?
We haven't had a building now. Yep.
No one leapt into building. There's lots of videos on YouTube about building, and there's also lots of building classes in Second Life, but I got a lot of this island built because I found someone who was really interested in building who didn't own an island, and so they were very delighted to have somewhere to do their building. So they actually came and built a lot of my stuff for me in the early days, which was really great. So there are lots of people who are interested in that side of it, but actually don't have anywhere to do it. So you can often get help from volunteers. Just want to grab off my list a link to a physics environment that was sent as part of the request I sent out for this seminar, for this class. Let's grab it. Hard drive. That. Oh, it would have been really nice if I'd actually saved it and called it the physics one. Now, normally, if I hadn't been running around like a crazy person, I would have put all of the links onto a note card in Second Life, but unfortunately I haven't had Second Life access until today, and all of these came in since. This one looks like it's the ancient sites around Mount Vesuvius. You might have to drop this one into your web browser if you have it open to get the link. Is it going to work in here? Let's see. So in your chat, if you've got... Oh, no, it works right in here. So in your chat, I've dropped a link which you should be able to click on, and it will give you a teleport. Historic recreation is a really cool use of Second Life because you can experience the costumes, the environment of an historical place, and be there, which is pretty hard to do in pretty much any other platform. You can watch a video of it, but you can't go and be in it and see what it likes, feel, I call it kinesthetic experience, where you actually go and feel what a place was like. I put a link. Should be able to teleport away. I'll go ahead.
Sue, because we're actually sitting side by side.
I've just got to turn off the music.
Okay, if you want to turn off the music at a site, up in the top right-hand corner, there's a pause button. So there's a play for the local sound. And the person who sent this said, this one was... Oh, dang, I closed it. Person said, this is this person's online home. It's the ancient sites around Mount Vesuvius.
I don't think that's right, but anyway, I think I spelled it wrong just then. But okay.
So let's have an explore of what we might see around here. So they've got some photo galleries along the walls, but they've also built the buildings to be somewhat lifelike replicas.
Oops.
Oh wow, the frescoes inside, amazing. Now you might find that
your camera is a long way back,
and
and so you might have to zoom with your scroll wheel on your mouse, and you can actually
zoom so far in with the scroll wheel that you're dropping the mouse so you're actually
your eyes, so you can look around the walls,
and then mouse you, so you're looking through your avatar's eyes so you can't see your
see everyone else's. You can still walk around like that, but for some people it's really off-putting. If you want to walk into
you have to find the place you're looking at and then stop looking at it. Just move forward. I feel like I should be wearing a toga.
got a whole lot of objects and parcels and things given to me.
So you might have a lot of little boxes up in the top right
Screen. So he's given landmarks and sorts of interesting bits and pieces, note cards. That's a really useful thing in this virtual world, is that you can collect up all sorts of goodies and note cards about places you land that are automatically handed out by distributing information to your students. Not sure who's near enough for me to hear.
Same. Since I'm typing away.
Gotta get my avatar back that has my radar on it.
Oops, I'm in the spa. Oh, interesting. And it won't let me fly. Damn. Don't go in the hole.
There's a hole?
Yeah, I'm falling.
Oh.
I don't know. Did you...
Teleport you back.
She's still falling. I didn't know that I was... I didn't know I was that far away. I thought, oh, there's a spa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I just zoomed out. see where we are, and we're way up in the sky.
We are. It's 12,000 metres, I think it was, while I was floating. 3,700
metres. There we go, you're back.
Anyway, don't let anyone go down there.
Avoid the spa, everyone. It's apparently a bottomless pit.
At least it is today.
Oh, there's a garden at the farm. Frescoes on this wall, just amazing. Concept of historical recreation and students then walking around through history. It's a really interesting one that's used a lot by museums. What they do is, in a museum, they may have a single artefact from a particular era, and then the museums are building virtual world recreations like this. So they may have a sarcophagus in the museum, but they build in their virtual world the pyramid that it lives in. And so the students can log in at a computer in the museum and see the object that's right in front of them in the context it would have existed in its own lifetime.
I'm doing that every lifetime. Just don't stay. Oh no, I thought you were next to the water. I wonder if people have been logged off because there's only.
Can you see them on your friends list? I don't have them on my friends list, so it's hard for me to find the others.
Well, I do keep teleporting them.
Another really interesting concept that I've seen is a gal who built an island that was looking at like pagan rituals, and as you walked around the island, you got to certain rituals, and there were animations there that when you sat on those posables, you actually went through the rituals, and then each time you would gain another object that, if you were carrying it, her scripted environment reacted to what you were carrying, and so it had a reaction to if you'd done the previous steps in like a quest to find all the parts, and if you turned up at the last place with all the parts in your inventory, it would sense that you were carrying them, and then you would get the full, animation of the gods in action kind of thing. It's really interesting. But these environments, if you then have students where they can be issued with the costume of the period, you can then act out particular ceremonies, which is very different to reading about it in a book, especially if the students are building these environments and researching them as part of the work that they're doing. And when I say building them, sometimes you might provide all the resources like the textures and various shapes, or you have a building laid out and then all they have to do is texture it. You can have building at kind of different levels of difficulty, or you let them buy things in the market. Any questions from the group? One of my friends teaches primary school integrated computer studies. So she takes the computer classes, but it's integrated in what the class is doing at the time. And so in her open sim at her school, the kids have to build everything. And they've been making things like public service announcements, or they've been making reports about the Egyptian history. And they make everything from scratch. And they do a fantastic job. And she just uses YouTube videos on how to build, and kids teach each other, and the kids who are real geeks run little building classes, but her students make everything. They're not allowed to buy anything ready-made. You can see all of her work. She does a lot of machinima by students, and I'll just grab No Clues website. Her stuff is done with very young primary school age kids. Her avatar's name is No Clue. No Clue Kid. And all the resources she makes, she just makes open source, so you can use all of her stuff. And there's lots of their kids' videos on Second Life. And she's actually an advisor on Lady Gaga's Born This Way anti-bullying program. It's Lady Gaga's Born This Way anti-bullying. Another really interesting place to visit in here is the not-for-profit commons. A whole lot of different not-for-profit organisations have collaborate together in here to learn how to use virtual worlds to support their work in communities. So you've got everything from like the Virtual Ability Group, who are helping people with disabilities use virtual worlds. You've got cancer groups, sustainable environmental groups, the Virtual Native Lands Group, lots and lots of these not-for-profit organisations who work together and have a shared island where they have lots of seminars by various people, and they also help each other learn how to use these spaces in really creative ways. So things like the Relay for Life for Cancer in Second Life, a couple of years ago, raised $70,000 by having avatars run that relay in Second Life. And you had really geeky people do quite amazing things like build an interface from their treadmill to their avatar. So they had buttons wired onto their the handles of their treadmill to move their avatar right and left, and they actually walked on the treadmill in real life, and it drove their avatars. Whereas now you're getting people to who are integrating the Kinect Xbox interface into Second Life, so you can actually stand in your living room in front of your Kinect and have it drive your avatars. Instead of using your keyboard, you're using physical movements. And so your avatar will, is infinitely more flexible because they can touch their nose and jump up and down and do all sorts of things. Now, have I missed any questions, Sue?
That would be amazing. Everyone can hear me through your mic. There was a question that I had ages ago, but I'll just quickly ask everyone else. I'll put on my chat. Has anyone got any questions? Because, we've got to make sure Lindy actually has some food because she hasn't eaten tea yet. Otherwise, I'm going to ask one and then we might wind it up. So any questions, that would be great. I can hear someone's got one. Okay. Well, actually, here's a question for you, Lindy. On Connect, I know that in the past it used to be only workable in Second Life with a PC. Do you know if it works with a Mac
No, I
yet?
don't.
No, I don't.
Okay, because Lindy's a PC user, I'm a Mac user, and I know I was very disappointed because I
Yeah.
bought a Connect and I couldn't use it.
Yeah.
The other question I had was when you were the
Yes.
matron,
Yes.
who prescribed her look?
It was actually in the script
It was actually
that they
in the
wanted
script
a
that they wanted
matronly, aged, frumpy-looking nurse because they had her react to in the scenario in a very traditional way. So she says to the social worker, well, of course, the best thing to do is for them not to see the baby after the death, and that we used to do it in the old days this way, and we'd get them home as quickly as possible. So she was the epitome of doing things the old way, and so they described her actually in the character descriptions that way. And then I went hunting for mature-aged avatars, and there's not a lot of them, but there's becoming more and more diverse avatars, actually. So I put together her look and shape and made her look older, and she actually has glasses that she wasn't wearing in that set, so I mustn't have added them to her costume.
Cool. Are there any other questions? I think we're down to 3. Oh no, there's other people here. They're behind me. Cool. Yes, Tam says she definitely looked frumpy, and yes, she did, which was why I wanted to ask, because she was very, very much typecast, and I did want to know, because one would hope that we don't all have matrons that look like that. Now, Lindy, don't walk forward or you will plummet to
All right.
a long
Okay,
way.
here's my other
3,000
nurse
metres.
avatar.
Here's my other nurse avatar.
Oh, you're running away.
So this is my younger nurse avatar in her scrubs. What's great is that you can get lots of animations like washing your hands. There are paper towel dispensers where you hold the paper towel and it animates your avatar to wipe her hands. There's kind of nose blowing and more sophisticated things that are really useful to filmmakers. Yes, this is definitely a better avatar for the nurse.
Well, she's you, isn't she?
Yes. However, they were trying to convey in that nurse a very dated view of the world. I noticed that sitting on the side of this little pool beside us is a little kingfisher that keeps going down and hunting.
So, question, was the younger nurse allowed to have a better attitude?
The younger nurse was used in the scenario where the social worker was talking to the obese girl who had fallen off her balcony because she had leaned against a decaying railing and she had broken her leg. And her attitude was, just let the animals on the farm, just put them down. They're not real. It's not a real farm anyway. You'll be right. Kind of attitude. So she didn't have an attitude, even though she was younger.
And so, but remember that these roles are
to stimulate discussion. And the concept was to really distress the patient. So that then the social worker had to recover from that role of
a very distressed patient. And
We
what
make
we do is
multiple
we actually
endings,
make multiple endings. So we take
story,
it up to a
and then
point
we'll
of the
do
story, and then we'll do
perhaps
the social worker not coping very well.
I think she's come to a resolution and sort of walking away saying, well, she's thought it out now. But the patient's left in a very distressed state. And then we have another.
And then we'll have another outcome B, which is the social worker taking
different tack and asking much better questions. And the students have to critique the actions and think about what they would do differently. And then the other thing is to say,
well, what if this was a different patient?
Oh, yeah, your voice is gone. Okay, so on that note, patchy voice, let me just say a big thank you to Lindy for this session. It's been just fantastic. I think everyone will agree with me. And it's really great to have someone come along who's got so much time to wind down, so much information to share and so much experience. So we're very privileged to have Lindy, and it was really great to meet you. So everyone's just saying thank you. So thank you, everyone. Now, very quickly, just before you go, and big thank you to Lindy